Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Lin Hiola, saya dosen di SKSG UI. Saat ini mengajar beberapa program studi pada jenjang magister dan juga doktorat di SKSG UI. Latar belakang keahlian saya adalah perencanaan kota dan wilayah dengan fokus keahlian yaitu pada bidang energi kota dan juga inovasi teknologi. Sehingga pada kesempatan kali ini saya akan sharing tentang salah satu mata kuliah yang saya ampu, yaitu metode analisis spasial perkotaan. Mata kuliah ini ditawarkan pada mahasiswa magister dengan bobot SKS 3 kredit. Mata kuliah ini memberikan pengertian dasar konsep spasial, analisis spasial, dan penerapannya pada perencanaan dan pengembangan perkotaan. Mata kuliah ini bertujuan memberikan pengetahuan tentang pemanfaatan data dan analisis spasial untuk mencapai keputusan strategis untuk kebijakan perkotaan. Metode spasial yang kita perkenalkan pada kelas ini hampir semuanya menggunakan inovasi teknologi atau software-software komputer, sehingga data atau metode spasial yang kita perkenalkan pada kelas ini yaitu data dan analisis kuantitatif. Bahasa yang digunakan pada kelas ini yaitu bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggris, karena dalam beberapa kali pertemuan kita juga berkolaborasi dengan mitra internasional dalam pengembangan dan pemanfaatan teknologi metode analisis spasial. Sehingga pada beberapa kelas saya akan memaparkan materi dan juga praktek dalam bahasa Inggris. Metode yang digunakan pada mata kuliah ini yaitu collaborative learning, kerja kelompok, dan juga praktek laboratorium spasial dan lapangan. CPMK yang ada pada mata kuliah ini yaitu mahasiswa mampu menggunakan metode analisis spasial untuk penelitian spasial perkotaan dengan variabel dan konteks yang dikaji. Sementara sub CPMK-nya adalah memahami konsep sistem informasi spasial untuk kajian perkotaan, memahami dan menerapkan konsep analisis dan aplikasi dalam sistem informasi spasial untuk kajian perkotaan, dan menerapkan metode sistem informasi spasial dan menganalisis data kajian perkotaan. Dari CPMK dan sub CPMK ini dapat kita lihat bahwa pada kelas ini mahasiswa tidak hanya dibekali pengetahuan dan konsep tentang data-data dan analisis spasial, tetapi juga penerapannya pada kajian-kajian perkotaan. Sehingga pada beberapa pertemuan kita melakukan praktek laboratorium komputer dan juga praktek lapangan. Nah, untuk melakukan kajian-kajian tersebut dan juga pada beberapa pertemuan, beberapa referensi bacaan dibekali kepada mahasiswa. Akan tetapi fokusnya untuk kelas ini yaitu adalah kepada hands-on atau praktikum. Nah, pada mata kuliah ini, selain pengantar kajian spasial perkotaan, saya membekali mahasiswa 4 jenis software atau aplikasi yang mereka dapat gunakan untuk kajian analisis perkotaan, yaitu diantaranya yang pertama simulasi perkotaan yang menggunakan aplikasi NVMat. Pada NVMat ini mahasiswa akan diperkenalkan bagaimana caranya memberikan atau menganalisis alternatif-alternatif pada solusi isu spasial perkotaan, terutama pada bidang iklim mikro dan kenyamanan termal. Nah, pada aplikasi berikutnya, kita perkenalkan teknologi navigasi, yaitu Global Navigation Satellite System, Ini fokusnya adalah untuk mengkaji tentang objek atau subjek yang bergerak pada kawasan perkotaan. Dan selanjutnya kita juga perkenalkan tentang pemetaan atau remote sensing yang menggunakan aplikasi GIS, sehingga mahasiswa dapat melakukan pemetaan data-data spasial atau non-spasial yang diambil dari secondary data. Dan berikutnya, mahasiswa juga diperkenalkan untuk menggunakan atau melakukan analisis ekonomi spasial perkotaan yang pada konteks ini kita perkenalkan aplikasi Geoda. Nah, pada akhir semester kita berikan ujian kepada mahasiswa, tapi tentu saja kita juga berikan tugas-tugas, tugas lab dan tugas lapangan, sehingga pada totalnya kita ada 4 tugas, yang 2 diantaranya termasuk tugas untuk UTS dan tugas untuk UAS atau ujian akhir semester dengan bobot-bobot 25%, 25%, 20%, dan 30%. Berikut adalah kriteria penilaian tugas-tugas mahasiswa karena memang mereka akan melakukan praktek lapangan untuk melaksanakan tugas tersebut. Baik, saya rasa demikian penjelasan tentang mata kuliah ini, metode analisis spasial perkotaan. Untuk berikutnya saya akan memaparkan tentang konsep salah satu metode yang kita gunakan yaitu GNSS, Global Navigation Satellite System, dan juga penerapannya pada lingkungan perkotaan yang dapat berupa kajian trafik, kajian EWS ya, early warning system, dan kajian pedestrian dan lain-lain. Terima kasih. Sampai jumpa pada video berikutnya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Linyola. Today I'm going to share the lecture on Introduction of GNSS, Global Navigation Satellite System, one of the applications we use in the class of Urban Spatial Analysis Method. So, what is GNSS? GNSS refers to constellations of satellites providing signals from the space that transmits positionings and timing data to GNSS receivers. GNSS accommodates the global coverage service, and as we can see here, there are some examples of the GNSS services. There is GPS from USA, GLONASS from Russia, Galileo from Europe, Beidou from China, and QZSS from Japan. So there are two types of methodology to collect data by using GNSS. The first one is absolute positionings. So for this one, you can collect data directly by using the GNSS receivers from the satellites. But the accuracy or the precision is 3 to 10 meters. The second one, we have relative positionings. So for this method, you can collect the data from the field, but there would be the data corrections from the base stations of the GNSS from and to the satellites. So your data would be corrected by the data collected by the base station itself. So for this type of method, the precision is up to 3 to 5 centimeters, so it's more precise, and the margin error is lesser. But in this type, you need the base stations. You can install the antenna in the base station, so it would do the data corrections for you. But for the absolute positionings, you don't need the base station. You can do it anywhere, but the precision is 3 to 10 meters. So for the relative positionings, we have real-time kinematic and post-process kinematic. So for the real-time kinematic, This is the technique to use to improve the accuracy of standalone GNSS receiver. The two receivers will be used in this RTK. One of them is stationary, another one move freely. So you can see the scenario here. But for the these base missions stays in one place and send corrections to the moving receiver. Uh, is either vehicles or pedestrian and so on so far. Any number of rovers can connect to one of the base station if the input setting match the base output. And for the second one, PPK is actually alternative technique to real-time kinematic that accurate positioning doesn't happen in the real time. So for this one, we don't really need the base station for this. Those are the process of the data collections and how the data could be presented. Uh, this is the first example of image I'm going to show you that the red dots represents the coordinates of the object or subject that you are investigating. So it represents the X, Y, or Z data coordinate, and the gray lines represent the connections between or among the coordinates that you investigate. The second one, those are the satellite data. You can see that the data consists of uh, s- statistics analysis, sorry, statistic data. You can see we have the latitude, longitude, and the height of the object or subject. So we can see this is the X, Y, and Z position of the object or subject. We also have the time series data. We have the speed data, and so on so far. So those statistical analysis data could be mapped or presented in form of the spatial mapping like this. So you can see this green and yellow line represents the mobility of the investigated object or subject. Those are the facilities and equipments that you can use when using the GNSS data collections and analysis. So we can see in our campus in Universitas Indonesia, we have the facilities of TrimbleNet R9. Yeah, is fixed in our GNSS lab here, and we have the GNSS antenna fixed in the rooftop of the uh, building, and those are the units of the equipments that you are going to use when doing or performing the data collections in the field. So those are the GNSS reference station interface. Uh, you can see those are the informations of the base stations, and we see the receiver status activities, the process of the data logging, the input and output data, and the positions of where the antenna is fixed is actually in the base stations here, and satellite tracking informations, what kind of satellites use for that particular data collections, and receiver status positions and position of the satellites, yeah, how many satellites works for you during the data collections. We can see here um, we have QZSS, Beidou, Galileo, GPS, and so on so far. Those are the equipments that you can use or you need to use during the data collections in the field by using the GNSS receiver. This is the example. We use normally the U blocks. Yeah, all of them will be stored in this bag, and we have the receiver itself, the antenna. Yeah, this is the antenna, and so on so far. This is the uh, presentations of the software when you do the data extraction, or the getting the data that you collect from the field to the GNSS software itself to get or to find out the statistical data as well as the spatial data. So during the data collections or after the data collections, you can see this interface, uh, how many satellites working, what is the process of the uh, mobility of the object or subject, you can see here, and the statistical view of the ongoing data collections, and other details we are going to talk about it in the lab later. And this is the process of the data extractions by using the Convert to Renex. The applications of the GNSS itself vary actually. They are used in so many applications, including in the urban area and difficult environment. For example, like for the traffic, constructions, pedestrian, and so on so far. So the application of this GNSS, I'm going to discuss about that in next video. I'm going to discuss about how GNSS could be used for early warning system to help people, yeah, to evacuate themselves during the disaster time. So thank you. See you in the next video. Hello, I'm Leniola. I'm here to share GNSS applications on Jakarta's flash flood early warning system, one of the applications we are using in the class of urban spatial analysis.
So this is the overflow of the system from Madoka PPP buoy, sending the data to the local stations, EWS message sent by the QZSS control to presence, and finally reaching the end users through the Android and the alert sirens. So let's see the components of the system one by one. First, we have the component of GNSS Madoka PPP buoy. Of course, we choose this for accuracy and precision reasons as we need the detailed and fast disaster data. Normally, in our center, we use RTK and PPP GNSS. In this proposal, we explore the Madoka PPP. See the component we have for the Madoka PPP. First, we have the Madoka antenna, then the receiver, connect to the Raspberry Pi, we have the keyboard, the portable battery, and normally we do the setting first before the data recording. For data collections we have done, we do install the receiver on the vehicle for getting the X and Y origin and destination navigations, as we can see in the screen. Particularly for this proposal, we are aiming navigating the Z coordinate. As we can see, the river level rise affects the positions of the Madoka PPP that we install in the book. This is the architecture of the buoy. On the top, we have the antenna, we have the solar panel for the source of the energy. On the bottom part, we place the receiver, the LoRa network, the Raspberry Pi, and the battery. Of course, we will need experts to develop this Madoka PPP buoy later. So we propose to place this buoy in the 13 affected biggest river in Jakarta. The second component is the local station that will manage the process of the GNSS data, sending it to the QZSS control as well as the from the Sony's presence to the users. The QZSS control plays the main role of the EWS message service. Context, we don't have the service yet in our country, so we would need G2G agreement collaborations for this plan. Yep, it's present time. We did some process in getting the EWS message. This is the example of our exercise. The process that we did in day 1, the process for day 2, and this is the recording of the process of reading the message we did on the rooftop for a better signal. And this is the process of coding, getting the data from the satellite, and yeah, in this process we get the 3 messages we submitted earlier. Yes, the next component is the Android notifications. We plan to design the notification in an Android as what we can see in the screen. So we have the locations, we have the time, we have the water level, status, and the message from the office. As we can see here, the status consists of the cautions, emergency. One is the evacuations. Of course, for the future development, we are planning to develop this into the other type of the system in the other type of smartphone for the wider users. Yep, last but not least, we have the evacuation alert sirens. For this part, basically the sirens is improving from the existing one, but of course by online, and is connected to the system, and it means that it's meant for the direct evacuation alert for on-site users, and of course for the those who don't have the smartphones.
So that's it. Demonstrations or sharings on applications of GNSS on one of EWS system. Hope this could give some understandings and knowledge on how GNSS could be applied in the urban scale analysis. Thank you.